So here we have the sounds of Gothic, the consonants. So this is part 2 of my Gothic phonology. We have ma, pa, ba, fa, va. Now as you can see it says labial, pronounced with the lips. Now in English we have the nearest to those are the labial dental, pronounced with the lips and the teeth. So fa, fa, and va are the sounds we have in English, but in Gothic they're just pronounced with the lips. Fa, va. Then we have the, na, ta, da, sa, la, ra. Now, these sounds, we don't know exactly, like, for certain, like I said in the last episode, Gothic is extinct. We don't have any sound recordings, so we cannot say for certain that they were that these ones were dentialveolar, or however that's pronounced. However, that's how I would recommend saying that. So, dentialveolar, the first part is denti, which means teeth, and then alveolar, which refers to the alveolar ridge. So, whereas in English we have alveolar, so na, ta, da, sa. In Gothic, you're going to want to pronounce them as dentialveolar, so na, ta, da, sa. And then we have the palatal. This is so palatal means with the hard palate. So you have adya, adya, which is always long, and then we have ya as in English. Yes, we have like as in thing, ka, which also has this ka, this English that it can also be written as, mainly in, well, exclusively in loanwords from Greek. You'll see this symbol mainly in the word Christos, which you can say Christos or Christos depending on how you want to pronounce this. Ch. Then we have ga and ha, which is the same sound as this English can be pronounced as, but it's an allophone of ga. And then we have, like I said, ga, which are so this gamma looking letter, which makes ga, ga, nga, or ha. That's so it looks similar to Greek gamma, or if you're familiar with Cyrillic, you might know the ge. Then we have the labiovelar, which are qua, qua, wa. Then the labialized glottal, ha. And then the glottal, which is a sound we have in English, so it's nice to have that after all of the sounds we don't have in English, which is just an H sound, like hello, that pretty simple if you're a native English speaker. So I'll go into more depth into each of the consonants. So we have pa, ka, and then like I said, it can also be written as this English, this X-looking thing, and that is from Greek. But Goths would have pronounced it as ka, but if you want, you can pronounce it as it was in Greek at the time, and the sound that it represents, which is cha. Then we have ta, as in time, more or less. And we have this letter that looks sort of a lot like a B, so that's not too hard to remember. Like in bat, which is how it's pronounced after M, L, or R. You have this hard B sound. Otherwise, it's pronounced V. Now, like I said, the closest thing we have in English is V, which is labiodental, but you'll want to pronounce it just with the lips, no teeth involved. Va, like in Spanish, a ver. And then we have ra, which can be pronounced ga, ga, and ha, depending on where it is in a word. So if it's after a ng sound, a l sound, well, there's only one l sound, and ng sound, whatever. If it's after ng, l, or ra, then it'll be a hard g. So like ng, lg, rg, then you have the hard g. Otherwise, it's pronounced g, g, amigo, amigo, like in the Spanish word amigo. And then, except when it's at the end of the word after, then it's pronounced ha, ha, like in law, law. In English, we just tend to say like Loch Ness. But there are some dialects where they have ha. In Spanish, jamón, Polish, chleb. Then we have this nga. Now, when to pronounce g as a nga? That you do that when it's before another one of these gamma-looking things, or before one of these k's, or before the sound we'll get to later, which is and if it's before any of those, then it's nga. There's an exception to that. I'll get to it later. And then we have da, which is, it's pretty similar to the English dime, but it's more denti-alveolar. So da, dime. And then we have this the sound, as in the English word the. It's also has a similar thing to Spanish, where you have del. If you speak Spanish, you might not even realize that these are two separate sounds. They're actually allophones in Spanish, and they're allophones in Gothic. It has the same rule as with B, this B letter, where if it's after n, if it's after l, if it's after r, then it's pronounced hard, as in duh. Or after, after a stop or pause, then you also pronounce it ba, da. And it can also be, if it's not after any of those sounds I mentioned, or mainly after a vowel, then it's pronounced th, like that, del. Then here we have another sound, which is the closest thing we have in English is fa, but it's not pronounced fa, it's pronounced fa with the lips only. Fa, fa. Some people might pronounce the word symphony as with this fa sound, so symphony. I do not pronounce it like that. I say symphony, which is where my M assimilates to the f sound, so I get symphony. I pronounce the M with my teeth, but that's not what the f is. Instead, we want, if your dialect assimilates the f to the m, then you'll get symphony with the lips. So you might have this sound in your native dialect. There's, if you speak Spanish, you might pronounce this as fa, as a fa in this word, fuera. It's not a sound in Polish, so you'll just have to take the same advice. You pronounce it with the lips. Fa. Finally, for this slide at least, we have the, which is pronounced as in thin. Now, a lot of English speakers, I would guess most, don't even realize that the sound and the sound are two different sounds because we write both with a th. Th is can be pronounced in English as either the or the, and that's we don't really distinguish the two in writing. However, in Gothic, the is an allophone of da, and the is always this sort of pitchfork-looking character. So if you see this, it's pronounced the, and that's how it's always pronounced. Depending on if you speak Spanish, you may or may not have that sound. If you do, it's in words like zorro, which means fox. If you don't, you'll pronounce that like zorro, which is so not every dialect of Spanish distinguishes the two. But if you do distinguish it, then that's the sound you want to use. Okay, next we have some more consonants. These ones are a little bit easier than the last ones. Ma as in map. So that's the same as in English. Na as in nose, more or less, but it's dentialveolar, so na, nose, as opposed to na, nose, na, nose, na, na, na. Polish has nos, nos. Then we have the sa sound. So in English we say soap, but it's also dentialveolar, so you want to say sa, soap. Polish, sum. If you want to listen to sound recordings of a language that has dentialveolar consonants, you'll have to listen to speakers of Polish speaking these words. And we have za, 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 zero, zero. Now we have la, la. We have this sound in English, so it's pretty easy. Then we have ra, ra. The closest sound is English red, which doesn't. It's not. We don't have the ra, but if you, I don't have Spanish, a Spanish example, but for example, the word perro, like a dog, Spanish for dog, perro. Then you have ra, and it's in Polish too, and a lot of languages. Rush, rush, rush. I'm not too good at pronouncing Polish, but just pay attention to the ra, ra, ra. It's pronounced more with your tongue, sort of in the same place you would if you were saying ta or da, but you sort of well, I don't know how to explain exactly, but you put your tongue there, tra, ra, and it can take a lot of practice. So don't worry if you're not good at saying any big sounds right at the beginning. I know I wasn't, and still am not for a lot of these. Then we have a ya, which, okay, finally an easy one, huh and wa. So those are all sounds we have in English. So we're done with the easy ones, unfortunately. Time to go to the harder ones. These are all rather rare across languages. We have adya. If you speak Czech or some other languages, this is one of it's ja, adya. It's always geminated, which means it's pronounced twice as long, or approximately twice as long, maybe a little shorter. It's to me, it sounds a bit like if you were impersonating a baby and you were saying yeah 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 yeah. That's just how it sounds to me. But it's sort of the closest thing we have in English would be a duh and a ya, like sort of at the same time. That's how I would explain it. Next we have qua qua, which is pronounced the same as a K, but instead of having your lips unrounded, you want to round your lips, which is called a labialized consonant. Qua, qua, qua. Then we have this sort of G, G, W sort of thing. I'm using the English names just because if you want to know, they're Riva and I think it's Winya for the Y looking one. So it can, depending on the word, this is just something that you have to memorize. It's gua, 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 which is always geminated. Then we have gua, 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 like in a xingguan, xingguan, which means to sing. Then we have hua, hua. Now we have a similar sound in some dialects of English in the word what. So some people say what. And finally, the final thing you need to notice is that if it's not that GG, which is nga, then if you see two consonants duplicated, that means they're geminated. So you pronounce, like, you don't say penknife, you say penknife, penknife. Atta, atta unshar. So, hopefully that I've helped you with the consonants. And that's it for this episode. Check back in the future to see what I do teach you next episode. I'll think of something else Gothic related.